Hey there and welcome. My name is Carlos Berries and in this video we are talking about making mistakes and hurting other people or other players and the GM and everyone. And why we are talking about it is because I talked in a previous video, the one talking about being that player, that sometimes we may have some actions that the other players or the GM will not approve and that they can hurt people in real life, not only in game. Emotional bleeding is something that happens, it's something that is real, and it's something that we should be aware of. And although a lot of these problems that I mentioned before are for a lack of empathy, a lack of difficulty in reading the room, or about some players or the GM not being used to sharing the spotlight, as it was mentioned in some comments and everything, I still think that we should talk about how to deal with them afterwards. And the first thing is that we should own the mistakes. This is the first thing. If we not own the mistakes, if we do not say, yeah, okay, we made this mistake and we did not own it from ourselves, we cannot start making them right. And by making them right, the first thing is afterwards apologizing, but a real apology, not some half-ass apology where like you say, oh sorry, I got bad tools and that was why I did a crap job. Or nobody stopped me, or we did not have tools in place to avoid this kind of thing. You still made the decision to make that. And do not victimize yourself if you are the one that hurt other people. You should be aware of that. A real apology is something that people want. And people feel when it's a real apology and when it's a half-ass apology. We are not talking about after you made a mistake, you are dead and you should not play anymore. But if you do not do a real apology that people can feel that you mean it, you are not apologizing at all. You are just making a statement. And as I mentioned before, also that consent is very important. I had a video only about consent and session 0 and how to implement some of the consent tools and everything like that. You still can make mistakes with some consent tools. They are to avoid, they try to avoid it, but it still can happen. So you should be aware that the mistakes are made by you. That's why you have to own them. And also, even after you apologize, which is the first thing, is that people do not owe to you to forgive you. You can apologize, you can do a real apology, you can really feel sorry about the mistake that you made, and not because you got caught, but the mistake that you made, and still people do not owe you forgiving you. And if they forgive you, forgiving is not forgetting. So they still may forgive you, but do not want to play games with you. They are not comfortable with you anymore for some time or something like that. Perhaps it will take a long time, and some people are different. Some people will forgive you and be able to play with you quite afterwards. It depends a lot also in how you made the mistakes. And one thing is that perhaps doing a public apology is difficult, even for your whole group. And if you made a mistake and you hurt someone, you perhaps do not need to apologize to everyone. You can apologize just for that person if you feel more comfortable with that. But again, if you are going to try to make it right, you have to own it. By owning it, you can then give a proper apology and avoid that this hurt, this damage continue in the long run. It's a simple idea. So consent tools will still allow that some mistakes are made, but they try to avoid it. So try to implement them. You have to own your mistake after you've done it, and you have to really apologize. like it's a real apology and not a half-assed one. This is the video. It's a short one. It's a theoretically simple idea and simple concept, and I hope that you pay attention to that. So, thank you. You know how internet works. Like, share, subscribe, and we see us in the next video. So, see ya. Oh yeah, it was a little bit rambly.